So welcome everybody, my name is Paul Smyers. I'm a country real estate agent in the western part of Virginia. And as part of my practice, I actually live at home, I work from home, and this is the subject of this video. And in my business, I meet a lot of people who want to work from home or have the dream, or my children, for example, and people like them, the younger generation. It's a lovely thing to think about working from home, but I hope you'll ride with me a little bit on this journey here. I'll tell you a bit about my experiences. I started working basically from home way back in the 1990s, and I worked for a large corporation. I used to go out and do service on machines, and I'd get up and call my customers, and then I'd go out and service them and so on. And I could kind of slough on the schedule a little bit because as long as I did the work and finished the job and got all the customers happy, I could take a little break here and there and go do my thing. But as I began to run my own business, I became a photographer, and I worked in some of the wholesale retail business for a while. Basically, I used to travel around a lot, and I would also be in a hotel as well. So I want to tell you a little bit about how it works, because first of all, if you think that working from home is like you get up in the morning and you can just do whatever you want, and you can work in your pajamas. Well, you can probably do it. If you don't row the boat ain't going to move. So basically, if you're running something from your own business of some kind, you got to be just out there stroking away and rowing the boat, because if nothing's going to happen, no boss is going to be on your case. It's just you, maybe your spouse or something, but you got to get out there and do something. Now, the kind of business that I run, I did not, make a big $1 million fortune or $1 billion, but I kept myself busy and comfortable and doing a lot of things that I really enjoyed, and also spending time with my family. I took a little different course in life. So basically, one thing you need to do as far as working from home is you need to have some kind of an organization, because a lot of corporations, you can see how they're incredibly organized, and everything is measured and calculated and scheduled and so on. Now, when you work from your home, you have to have some kind of a structure. And one of the things that, even if you have not yet decided on a physical structure where your office might be and so on, the one thing you need is lists. I live on lists. I pilot license, and checklists. I got a lot of things on this list, and that's only some of the most important ones. So what happens is, if I don't have some kind of a structure or some kind of a plan in my day, like what am I going to do, I don't have to have it absolutely. I'm not like a doctor or some of those kind of people that they have an appointment every 1 hour on the button and everything, and they got to take notes in between and so on. I don't have that kind of a schedule, but I have to keep track of a lot of different operations, because where I live right now, I have there's about 7 structures on this property and about 3.5 acres, and I have a workshop, and I have a place to park tools, and I have like a fire pit, and I have another little office building and so on. So I have a lot to take care of, and it's just me living here. So again, lists. Make yourself some lists. And again, when you sit down and prioritize, because there's a lot of things that be coming on the list, and one thing I do is I put like a number. If it's a 0, that means I got to take care of that pretty damn quick. If it's a 0 and a double A, yeah, I better really do it fast. But there's things on the list that are like 2s and 3s or whatever. Okay, I'll get to that eventually, but it's not like causing any major problem, But at the same time, if I don't put it on the list, I'll totally forget about it. And I put on my list some personal things like meditation and things you got to do in the morning. And just in my business, I try to be available by 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm a real estate agent, and I do a lot of stuff at night or early morning or whatever. But as far as phone calls, I don't around then. But I try to be ready and conscious by that time. So that's the thing. Again, have a plan, have a strategy, know some things that you got to do, and try to make a schedule, because where I have a completely free schedule. I have to totally schedule myself, or nobody's going to do it for me. So I just have. Over the years, I've learned where I don't need to get it absolutely precise, that at 9:30 I do this, and at 10 o'clock or 10:01 I'm doing something else. It doesn't always work like that, and trust me, if you work from home, there's other distractions and things go on, and your lights can go out and stuff like that can happen too. So there are various flexibilities in the way I schedule my time so that I can account and deal with some irregularities and so on. And things come up sometimes, something will be really important. Okay, so again, you'll need some writing equipment and tools and some, everywhere you look at my property, in the shop, in the workshop, in the office, in the kitchen, there's pencils and pens, okay? Because when I need to write something down, there's an old saying, a pilot saying, a short pencil is better than a long memory. Well, those phone numbers, it might be a client that'll make you a bunch of money, and you just, I forgot to write it down, okay. So get yourself some writing equipment and tools and things, and again, office supplies, we'll get into that a little bit later, but you need some basics, okay, and then you need some space to work. In my condition, I have a number of spaces. I have this little area here off the kitchen, has a desk and a computer, and I do some, one aspect of business here. I can do research, it's cozy and everything, but I also have a separate building that has a little office in it. In that, I have a printer, and I have all my other drives, and I have a big screen, and I make videos there, and I edit videos because I have camera and things like that. Okay, and I also have my flight simulator in there. So I have that area. I do certain activities and certain types of software on the computers there. I have a PC as well. And then in this area here, I have my laptop. So basically, you have to kind of decide where you're going to work and make it entirely space. I mean, don't put your kitchen all equipment right next to where you're eating, and in your office space. You got to get the business done and have a space in your office. So again, when you're buying property and you're looking for a property, a lot of people these days, even if it's just a couple, they want a 2-bedroom and a 1-bath at the minimum because they have that office space. A lot of people work from home these days. And again, we'll get into equipment, but you want to have the space to work and have it organized and have it decently tidy. And you need some files. You pretty much need some accounting software or something like that, or some kind of bookwork tape. I mean, in your own business what you're going to need, but make sure you have the right kind of equipment. And I always buy used equipment. My goodness, I mean, my computer's like 10 years old, and another computer is 12 years old, and my PC is probably 20 years old, but it still does my flight simulator. I just have things that I really need. I pick up office supplies at thrift stores. I get tools, wherever I need tools. I can sometimes buy them used at flea markets. And I get furniture and desks and so on. This desk right here that I'm sitting on is a beautiful old vintage drafting table. I have a set level right now, but it can go up and down and tilt and everything. It's kind of cool. So it's very, very simple, and it doesn't have a lot of bulk to it. So again, these are practical tips. I hope people will just listen for a few minutes because there's a lot of really simple things that you can do. You're going to want to have books and so on, and try to organize your space and think carefully about what you really need. You need some priority. You need a priority list of what you need to buy. Like, for example, when I have a major decision about buying equipment or something, I make a list of the things, okay, I need this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then I go through it, okay, do I need this one more than this or this one more than this? And then I try to prioritize and say, okay, right now I need an upgrade to my laptop. And I went through a long list of other things. I go, well, the laptop has seen its day here, is starting to have a little bit of issues here. And I just got to work on it and replace it pretty soon before I lose all my data. So again, you want to have a plan, you want to have some goals, you want to have some structure, you want to have a location where you do your business, you want to have the right tools and equipment, you need office supplies, buy them used. Okay, now, what does it mean to work at home? Okay, the old saying, if you ain't rowing the boat, it ain't going to go. So basically what you have to do when you work from your home is you have to do diligent, you have to be... you have to kind of be very self-motivated to do things because nobody's going to tell you what to do. And believe me, there are times when that would have helped me sometimes because I need a little push. But at the same time, maybe you have family issues and so on that you have to take care of and chores that you need to do and so on. So what I try to do is I have a list of household things like, right along. Okay, if it's household and it's urgent, and it's business and it's urgent, it stays close to each other. Say, okay, well that's household, but it's also pretty urgent. Like, okay, let's say my hot water heater just blew a tank and exploded in the basement. Well, that suddenly comes to the top of the list right there. So there's stuff like that happens. So again, having a sense of self-motivation, and most people, I'm in the real estate business, and I also fly a drone and so on, and I also run a little homestead here, I have a hip camp here, and so on, and some other activities, gardening and so on. So I have a number of things that are going on, and this is what I suggest to people. I've been working as a photographer for a long time. I also had a real estate license at the same time as a photographer, and I got into different kinds of photography, and I found most of my business online. So when you get out in the countryside, when you buy property, of course, these days it's very easy to find a place where you have internet, good fast internet. You can get it these days. Now you got to decide, okay, well, where am I going to work, and what are my projects? Okay, because on a homestead like this, I have things that are accessories to my business. I have to keep up the equity of the property and maintain it and so on. And that's a strategy I work with. It's just a business thing you got to do, otherwise I'll lose my value. It's the same thing with my garden, anything I invest in, my car, my machines, I got to take care of them and all that. So when you move out the country, for example, and you're working from home, again, you need the tools, equipment, and motivation, the goals, and you need like some kind of a self-discipline and scheduling and so on for your own needs. So when you look for property in real estate in a rural area, I really suggest people listen to some of my other videos, because a lot of people are running a little business from home. I mean, there are people who out in the countryside of Virginia who it's not their real livelihood, but maybe they raise puppies, or maybe they raise goats and they sell the milk or sell the sheep's wool or stuff like that. They do, and they make a little extra money. So I think that when you work from home, it's a really good idea to have several different ways to make money. Maybe one thing that you do makes $1,000 a year. Okay, it's $1,000. It's not like a fortune, but at the same time, I pay all your electric bill for the whole year, or something like that, you see? So, also it gives you some additional activity. For example, if you have a garden, and, I'm at the point where I might get some chickens, finally. I don't really, I only eat a few eggs a week, actually. So chickens that way doesn't mean much to me. But at the same time, they produce fertilizer, and I do want to have some plants and some other vegetables and stuff growing here. So I want to, okay, maybe I'll get the chickens. They'll keep the insect population down. They'll keep the ticks down and so on. And they'll provide some fertilizer and a few eggs, and now and then a chicken soup or something, roosters. But anyway, again, multiply the assets of your home and property, and then when you buy property, buy something that has assets. Like, I made a little video about it, but buy something that has, like, okay, a shed, a driveway, landscaping, fencing. A fenced-in area is great for dogs or babies or young kids or something. A separate office building, a workshop, oh my God, a big garage, a carport, a pond, driveway, garage, external garage, outhouse. Sometimes I have an outhouse here. It just came with the property. It's a pretty good one. It has a light and an vent and everything, built like out of cinder blocks, but there it is. And we don't use it, but so I hope you enjoyed these videos. I talk a lot about trying to get the most value when you buy and sell property and how to run an operation here. And some of the tips I just want to summarize again. Have a plan, have a strategy, checklist, make contacts with people, spread out your risk, and have different income sources, keep records, and also have I'm building basically a portfolio and operation manual for my property. When what's the squawk things, what's a list of things I got to do on this building, and what are the maintenance items, and what do I got to do every week, and what I got to do every few months, and that kind of stuff, and have kind of a goal. Say, okay, I'm going to maintain my property, because in the old days when people, the ultimate working at home was a farm. I mean, these people had their food and everything, and it's very hard to do that today. Just totally provide everything for yourself, including your horses that you ride. But at the same time, by being more independent and self-reliant is the goal of homesteaders and the goal of self-employed people. They want to, do things on their own and be responsible. And that's again, animals. If you have animals on a property, they're going to require some maintenance and all that. And there's also health issues sometimes. So I hope I inspire people to look into your own resources and again, buying used stuff. Find out what equipment you really need. Prioritize. Make choices and financial decisions based on the important priorities for your work and your homestead. Okay, like if you might want something like I want right now. I'd love to have, maybe I'd like to buy a welder, but I'm not going to use it right away. I'd like to buy a boat. That'd be cool too. But like, when am I going to use a boat? It's November here, So I need some certain things, and I have to prioritize. And again, watch some of my other videos to get more information. I watch a lot of other people's content. I love hearing from people. Please get back to me and just like and share if you find some valuable content here. And you'll see a lot of other helpful information in my other videos.